Welcome back to Can't Stop Talking podcast. All right, let's just jump right into this episode. What I see time and time again that trips entrepreneurs up is the vibe of it's just not working. It's just not working. It's just not working. No one's buying from me. My engagement's down. That post flopped. No one's following me on TikTok. It's just not working. And that's the vibe that is manifesting over into everything. Instead of it's all working. It's all working because I work it. It works until it overflows. And so what I'm seeing is you are deciding that because you can't see it in your reality, that it's not working. However, as business owners, that is the game, right? How many times have you been like, oh my gosh, this launch is going horribly. And then out of the blue, someone you've never talked to in your life is like, how do I sign up? That's because it's all adding up until it overflows. It's happened to me in my business time and time again. But what happens is we fall into the trap of because of X, this means that I'm not going to get Y. Let me explain. For example, because only 80 people watched my Instagram story, that means that I'm going to fail this launch, right? And newsflash, I have over 20,000 followers on Instagram, and I only get about 100 to 200 views on my stories a day, and I still make 10K plus months. You are putting conditions on your metrics for how things are going to go. Your metrics aren't actually telling you the full story, right? When you have a belief system, when you are manifesting, you can't see what's working. You can't see the clients that are deciding, watching your launch and saying, oh my gosh, I need that thing. You can't see their thoughts. You can't see them watching your launch being like, oh my gosh, I want to be in Sam's mastermind. I just need the last day to happen so that I can have a fire under my ass and actually be motivated to sign up, right? We can't see how your audience is watching. I talk about this all the time. The other day, I actually had someone apply for one-on-one coaching, and I was like, how did you find me? She was like, TikTok. I was like, what? TikTok? I remember literally a day ago being like, should I even keep posting on TikTok? I have 300 followers on there. A one-on-one client found me through TikTok, a platform that I decided I only had 300 people on, so I should stop posting on. 300 people. If I put 300 people in a room with me and I decided to get on stage and sell to them, you think I would be thinking the same thing? I'd be like, no, 300 people showed up to my event. This is insane. That's 300 potential clients, right? You are giving up too soon because you are deciding that it's not working, because you are seeing with your own reality that it's not, because you're looking at the metrics and the metrics don't tell you anything. I was just talking about this on a free masterclass that I did with my friend Dev, and we were like, have you ever liked all your coach's stuff before you signed up with them? Like, I don't know about you, I'm just not that type of person. So like I don't comment on their stuff. I don't like their stuff. Like I will randomly just come into their inbox and be like, I want to work with you, like out of the blue. Like they've never seen me before in their life, but I am sitting there deciding on the other side of the screen, like their content is really good. I'm getting really activated and it's all adding up till finally I just message them and I'm like, I want to work with you, right? I have had girls come into my DMs who I've never seen in my freaking life be like, how can I work with you? And why is that? It's because it's all adding up. Everything that you're doing in your business is working when you decide that it's working. When I was doing my mastermind launch, I was manifesting really hard. You can go to the episode on how I manifested my mastermind launch. And I was feeling into the vibe of, I know I'm getting 5 women in. It was literally the last day of the launch. It was 8 p.m. The launch was closing in 3 hours. I was eating Chick-fil-A. And I remember I was like, let me just go on my stories. Like, I just have this feeling I should just go on my Instagram stories and talk about the fact that I'm celebrating my launch eating Chick-fil-A. I just wanted to. And what happened is someone literally messaged me It was like 9 o'clock. The launch was closing in 3 hours. And she was like, I want to work with you. And we talked for like 30 minutes and she was like, I'm ready to be in your mastermind. She paid in full. And I got the last person for the launch. She was like, I found you that day. She was like, I found you and I bought from you that day. I've never ever bought that quickly. And why? Because I decided that I was going to get 5 people in. I decided that I didn't have to realize the how, that it was all working, that everything I did throughout the whole launch was working in my favor. And I held the vibe till the very end, right? This is how it always happens for me. You have no idea how a client is going to come in. I had a client once message me and she was older, right? She like barely used Instagram at the time. She was like, I was deleting podcasts and I almost deleted this podcast and I saw you as a guest on this podcast. So I listened to it. I loved the way you ran your business. And so I decided to message you. How can I work with you? She bought a bundle that day of my courses. And then about like a month later, she signed up to be in my mastermind. She was going to delete that podcast, right? It is not your job to know the how. It is your job to decide that every action you are taking is working and that you cannot see all the lives that are being changed by you posting. Because right now you're deciding nothing's working. Why should I even post? When someone is literally waiting for your post. I remember I put out this fire post. I was like, that was such a good post. And it got like no engagement. I was like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? But I decided it was a great post. And I go to my mastermind call that day. And the girls on my mastermind call were like, Sam, that post was incredible. It's the best post you ever did. I was like, thank you. Thank you, girls. I go back after the mastermind call and I look at the post and neither of them liked nor commented on it. Was I mad? No, I was laughing my ass off because I was like, you cannot see with your own eyes how every piece of content, every story, everything you do in your business, every podcast episode changes someone's life. You can't see it. You can't see the thoughts that are in your client's head. I've had so many people message me out of the blue and be like, I just love your podcast so much, right? And it's so funny because I will hear crickets for months. I'll be like, does anyone even listen to my fucking podcast anymore? Like literally, I have these thoughts all the time, but you can't see the people listening. You can't see the people who are obsessed with you and you have to keep going, right? You have to know that it's everything's working in your favor and you have to decide that. When I started my Instagram and I had literally one follower is probably my mom, I acted like I was talking to hundreds and thousands of followers. I posted as if people needed to hear what I had to say. I posted to, my one follower and I was like, one day there's going to be hundreds and thousands of people listening to what I have to say. And I would affirm that. I'd be like, 100 people follow me every day. 100 people follow me every day. And I showed up and I act as if that was happening in my reality. And guess what? I started gaining 100 followers a day, right? And that's how I got here now. But I was just like you. I was just like you where I was like, is this even working? And that's the coolest part about manifestation and the coolest part about business is that we're on the internet. The internet does not show the full story. You can't see who is waking up that day deciding, I just got the money to invest in Sam. I just got the money to invest in Danielle, in Patricia. I don't know. I'm hoping I'm saying one of your names. I don't know what that was. But you know what I'm saying? You can't see the post that's going to change their life while you're sitting here deciding that why should you even do this? You should throw in the towel. None of this is working. Someone's on the other side waiting for you to do this. I remember in December, I had one of my audience members put up a story and she was like, these are my favorite people in the industry. I had never talked to this girl ever. And I was so freaking honored. I was like, I can't believe she's putting me on this post. Like I've never even spoken to her. And she's putting me on her story saying, I am one of her favorite people to follow. And so I messaged her. I sent her a voice message. I was like, thank you so much. This means the world to me. And because I, acknowledged that and I messaged her, she ended up joining my mastermind, and now she's still my private client. And I had no idea she even existed. So I want you to, instead of looking at lack, instead of saying only this many people look at my stories, only this many people like or comment, no one's listening to my podcast. Why do I even have a TikTok? I want you to change into abundance, right? Decide what your reality gets to look like. Choose your inner vision and go back to that inner vision that you decide for yourself. If you know one day you are going to be a multimillionaire CEO talking to hundreds of thousands of people, you have 1 million followers, you constantly go on vacation, what does this look like? How would you act now? How would you show up? How would you post, right? What would your thought process be when you're putting up a story? Would you be like, oh, this is the best story ever. This is changing everyone's lives. Everyone wants to work with me. Would you infuse into your TikTok, this TikTok's going to change everything? I can't wait to make that podcast so that people can listen and rave about this. Decide what your reality would look like and show up from that place, even if your reality isn't matching up right now, right? Manifestation is acting as if, and that's going to bring it together. Act as if you were already building your empire. You already have it. And you're going to watch these clients come out of the woodworks. Decide that people need to hear what you have to say from you, not me, from you, right? Your voice is powerful. You get to have this business. You get to change people's lives, but it all starts with deciding that people are listening and watching, and they need whatever you are offering from you. This is how you create an empire. This is how you're in it for the long term. You're not looking at the metrics, right? You're not looking at the story views, or if your post got 1 like, or if 1 person came to your masterclass. You know your inner vision. You know what you're set out to do. You know what you're creating for yourself and what's going to happen. And guess what? You don't need to know the how. The universe that's its job. It's doing the how, right? You don't have to ask yourself, how is the client going to come? All you have to do is show up and act as if the client's already here. You don't have to ask, how is my reel going to go viral? You just have to act as if it's already happening, right? And when you do this, everything changes. And guess what? You're going to be more motivated. You're going to want to show up because you actually realize that your voice matters, even if you can't see it, because you will one day. And even if you can't see it right now, doesn't mean it's not changing lives. How many YouTube videos have you watched that you never commented on, right? How many pictures of Kim K have you been like, wow, she looks good, never commented? That's such a random analogy, but you know what I mean. The last thing I want to say is I have heard the story of a girl who was in my certification who I've actually talked to. She's amazing. And she posted reels for 2 years consistently. And she only had about 2,000 followers. And then one day she posted a reel and it went absolutely viral and she gained 100,000 followers overnight. I want you to go and infuse every piece of action that you take in your business with the feeling of, this could be the moment that I wake up and I post that reel and it changes everything, right? You never know when your big break's going to come. I love you so much. I hope this episode really helped you. I loved putting on. I feel like I just had so much come out of me. It felt so aligned and divine, and it just felt like it was coming from my higher self. So I love you. Keep going. If you want to work with me, I have one-on-one coaching. I have Dream Business Accelerator, my signature course, and I have my Take Action membership. And all those things are my babies, and I love them, and they're the best in the industry. And yeah, I just love what I do. I love you guys. I hope this helped. And if it did, please message me. Please let me know, because I want to see you guys. But regardless, I'm putting out into the universe that this podcast is going to change so many people's lives. I love you.